We think that people are like scrutinizing or judging our every move, like, oh my goodness, like what are they going to think about the rebrand, or oh shit, like how do I sound? And it's like I try to really just put my head down and like, you know, just get to the goal.
Tired of being complacent, I done almost had it up to here with my patience.
Hey there, I'm Victoria Makanjuola, and you're listening to Feel Your Feelings, the podcast where high achievers get real about mental wellness. You feel me?
Attention all passengers, now clearing the runway for growth. It's takeoff season.
Gas to the pedal, moving on. 'Cause I've been on a new vibe, living on an incline.
Welcome back to another Host2Host series, guys. This is me filming, recording, editing 2 episodes this week. The nails have been affected. They've been affected. So if you see this on YouTube, I hope you're getting a good laugh out of this, because this is real. This is real. That's the process of me being a podcaster and also working from home. So yeah, anyways, I hope that if you are a creator who is looking to grow your show, grow your platform, I'm sure you see so many different videos showing you, how to grow from scratch, tip by tip, step by step. And I highly encourage you to check out Myles' platform. He has a very insightful website called Creator CEO, which is linked in the description. And we met at Podcast Movement. If you look at the production of his show and his podcast and his platform, you'll see that he really is about it. So I highly recommend that you check out Myles' content. And yeah, I'm really excited for this episode. I did have some tech issues throughout this episode, recorded on Riverside FM, and it was so frustrating while recording this season, but I am grateful that we got through it, and I thank Myles for his patience when the recording software kicked me off and I had to come back on. So thank you for your patience, Myles. And yeah, if you're watching this or listening to this, then let me know down in the comments, how are you planning to grow your platform? What is your content strategy? Are you looking to monetize? Are you looking to gain more followers? Are you looking to start a newsletter? I recently created my own website, so happy about that. Check it out. And yeah, let me know. Yeah, let's tap into this episode and see what insights that you gather. Let's get into it. I'm here today with Myles Youngblood, host of Creator CEO, and he's joining me today from DC. Welcome to the podcast. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. It's been real cold.
How do we know each other? Let's dig into that. So we met at Podcast Movement 2025 last August, when Podcast Movement came to Dallas, to Grapevine, Texas, and I was working there as an employee, technically like a track room manager, and I went to one of their events that they had at the place called Chicken and Pickle. I think that's the first place that we met. What were your takeaways from that experience?
Man, my takeaways from Podcast Movement 2026, or it was 2025.
25, yeah.
I'll say this, like every podcast movement, every conference I go to, I really just make it an effort to just meet as many people as possible. I think at this point in my career, I'm not saying like I know everything, because I definitely don't, but like I go to these things not necessarily for information, but more so for connections, and not necessarily something that I have to benefit from immediately. Like sometimes it could just be like, oh, maybe we could guest swap, maybe we could exchange information, maybe a year or two down the line, like I have something or you need something. So that's really what I came down there for, and obviously it works, because that's where me and you met. So yeah, that's the main reason I attended.
Absolutely. We stayed connected, and we were supposed to be on my show for an earlier season. An earlier episode of Host2Host. It didn't quite pan out at the time, but I'm glad that you're on here now.
You gave me the boot. You rejected me early, and I'm like, damn, I didn't know it was beef. I thought we was cool.
I misinterpreted the situation. Okay, I thought he was part of like a podcast duo. Okay, And I made the assumption that, like, oh, if I have him on my show, like, his partner is going to be mad at me and da. And I had it so wrong. So there's a lesson in that, too, which is, like, don't make any assumptions about people, because you
Nah,
don't know. You don't know.
you
You might
never
as well
know.
ask them.
Yeah, and the thing too, at
Yeah.
least for me, it's like I like to be just like just a laid back type of person. Like you could ask me, like I don't really get offended over things. Like if
And I
you,
realize that now,
yeah,
in hindsight, but yeah, hindsight is 2020
for
for
sure.
sure. Since podcast movement 2025, like what are some updates with you and where you are now with your show? Because I learned so much being there as well, being around so many creative people, and I also rebranded my show, not
Oh
with the
wow,
title,
congrats.
just with the content. So, and I know you were on that journey as well with pivoting. So,
Hmm.
where are you at with that right now?
In terms of the big pivot, all right. So there's this podcast accelerator program called Grow the Show Accelerator that I did from this guy, my podcast coach, Kevin, I think Michael Mitchell, something like that. It's spelled Michael, but it might be pronounced Mitchell. And I think either episode or week 1 or 2, he was talking about how like people got to come to your show for a particular reason. Like you have to like they have to get something, a promise, whether that's entertainment, whether that's like you take them from point A to point B, something like that. And I actually own my own content growth agency where I help influencers with their content. Take the long form content, cut it into shorts. It's completely done for you. I've generated hundreds of millions of views. I've made multiple six figures doing it. Still doing it to this day. And so I was like, you know what? Let me double down on the creator economy because obviously that's, who I work with on a daily basis. That's what I built my business off of. I'm a creator myself. Let me do that. So then I just decided to create Creator CEO because I feel like as content creators, and I've met a lot of creators who are more creators slash creatives first, and then they kind of think about the money and the monetization and stuff like that after. So the premise of my show, the new show Creator CEO, is to teach creators how to monetize their content and not just be a content creator. So that's the
That's
story.
great. That's great. You pretty much answered my follow-up question for you, which was like, tell me more about your show, its name, why you decided to start your show, and who's your audience. I think you kind of touched on that already, but I know you talk
Yeah,
about business, you talk about crypto. So,
I do.
who is your primary audience?
I mean, my primary audience are or is it mainly just content creators who are looking to make consistent income off of their content. And what I mean by content creators, because like I think some people think of content creators, they think of like TikTokers and shit, but like nah, you can own a business, and if you own a business, you got an Instagram, like you a creator. So
Exactly.
those are mainly the people that I'm trying to target. Like if you are a content creator or a business owner and you're making content, you're not seeing you're not seeing the revenue that you want, I can help you with that. So that's the main target audience for me.
Nice. Outside of podcasting, what do you do?
Oh man, outside of podcasting. So for a minute, me and my colleagues, I went to Howard University, graduated in 2020. So if
Congrats.
anybody, if
Congrats.
that, thank you so much. It was a great time. So one of my friends, we went to the same middle school, high school, and then we went to Howard. We got the same degree. So like me and him, I've known him like pretty much my whole life, and we threw we threw parties for at Howard, and then COVID happened, and then we started up. So we kind of do that, not nearly as much, but here and there. I took up boxing. I like to box in my free time. Go to the gym and then just go out and hang out with my friends. I pretty much go out almost every weekend.
Very cool. I know you mentioned going to Howard in 2020. I graduated from George Washington in 2021, but I
Oh
moved
wow.
from DC back home to Texas in 2020. It was like April 2020. So,
Okay.
yeah, it was a
Okay. So you're
crazy
familiar with
time.
DDC?
A
Yeah.
little bit, a little bit. I was in Foggy Bottom, but it was definitely a
Uh huh.
crazy time, and that's where this podcast came about, was because of a
Mm.
capstone project at George Washington University. So, yeah, we both have that DC connection. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
that's crazy. So, are
Definitely.
there any shows or creators that you look up to?
Oh, for sure. First ones that come off the top of my head is Stephen Bartlett from Diversity.
Okay.
Chris Williamson from Modern Wisdom. Those are probably the top two that like mainly Steven that are. I mean, obviously he's black. He has, a big show. He talks to business owners. He had Kamala on his show, stuff like that. And that's like where I see myself and where I want to take the show is I want to be a force in the business world, in the business space. But how I see it is, especially with podcasting, it's really the long game. Like you don't really see too much traction like early on, monetization, all that stuff. So I told myself when I started back in May of 2024, I said, all right, every single day, or not every single day, you're going to give this 2 weeks, or not 2 weeks, 2 years. And you're going to go hard for 2 years. And if you don't like it after 2 years, you can quit. You know what I mean? I feel like 2 years
Okay.
is enough time for me to see like if I like it or not. And for the past 2 weeks, I've dropped a podcast every single Thursday. I haven't missed a Thursday since. And I don't plan on stopping come May. So, but yeah, I like to just stay consistent and so I can get to where I need to be.
That's really wonderful. Consistency is the key for sure. That's also something that I'm working on is my consistencies. Yeah.
Got to.
Do you have any favorite episodes that you've done on your show so far? And do you have any dream guests that you want to have on Creator CEO?
Yeah. Damn. Favorite pods that I've done. Favorite pods. All right. I'm thinking of one right now. Probably my favorite one. Okay, so I rebrand. So all my old stuff on my channel, I actually unlisted. So it's not there anymore. If anyone wants to look it up, like if you want the
Okay.
link, I'll send it to you because it's unlisted. But so I'm a Sigma, right? I played Sigma at Howard, and I got the international president at the time. He's no longer the president. I got him on the show, and I remember I reached out to one of my neos. He connected me to him, and then we were trying to set up a date. And I think he didn't hit me back for like a minute, and then it might have been like he hit me on, let's say like he hit me on a Thursday and said, hey, I'm about to be in on the weekend. Can you set this up? So I had like basically 2-3 days notice to like hit the studio, find a time, prepare for it, all this stuff. And at the time before I unlisted it, it was definitely one of my top 3 episodes that I did. And
Sure.
it was just a great conversation sitting down with Brother Prez, and I put a lot of effort into the production value and everything. And so yeah, and then in terms of dream guests, the podcasters I look up to, Chris Williamson, Stephen Bartlett. My goal is to eventually get on Joe Rogan.
Okay.
So yeah, oh yeah, for sure. That would be. I feel like I have a good conversation with Joe. Oh, and Alex Ramosi. He's a good dream guest too.
Okay, nice. I think I've heard of that show before, for sure. Yeah, I think being at Podcast Movement, it really exposed me to other creators in the space. And someone you had on your show recently, he was also at Podcast Movement, and something he said was not to network with the person who everyone's trying to talk to in the room. Like maybe it's the person who doesn't have on like the really flashy or fancy outfit. Like network with your peers, network with the people around you, and you can also find a lot of valuable people in alignment there as well, not just chasing like the big name. So that's been a valuable lesson that I learned from Podcast Movement, and also networking with the people that I worked with there as well. So yeah. Yeah, it's been a good journey so far. So your production, I want to know more about your production style. Are you more into like solo hosting, group hosting? And I see that you record your show in a podcast studio. What is that? What is your process like? Your production process like for your show?
Great question. So I actually changed it up a little bit. So I started off before I rebranded. I at a studio out here in DC. Now,
Okay.
unfortunately, they just ghosted me for whatever reason. And honestly, that was probably a blessing in disguise because I was
Right.
paying. It wasn't even that much. It was like $125 an hour. I was like, all right, whatever. And it was really close to where I live too. So I was like, all right, it's a win-win. So now I just do it in my house. I actually asked my leasing office if I could paint this wall behind me. So I painted the wall. I'm probably gonna do some more. There's usually a painting behind me, but it came down. I just never put it back up. So that's the studio setup. So now in terms of like how I go about like my episodes, I actually switched things up with Creator CEO. So in terms of like the YouTube, I'm really want that to be really concentrated and really just making sure I'm just interviewing creators. You go there for it's like all things creator, right? Actually experimenting with a new style. I actually recorded it yesterday. Is you know you're familiar with like what a reaction channel is?
Yeah, yeah. My sister had one.
Oh,
She had
really?
one for a while. Just reacting to
Man,
music videos.
you know what? Like sometimes I wish that I just did. If I did, I know for a fact if I did reaction channel on just like funny shit, like on like pop culture, man, that
It
would
would pop
take off.
off.
But I just yeah, pop
Yeah.
off. It's not that hard. It's really not that hard. Well, I shouldn't say it's not that hard, but it's just that like I don't know. I have the personality to be able to do it, but that's not the trajectory. I might do it later on when I'm like, all right, I kind of accomplished everything I want to accomplish, and this is kind of just a hobby that I do. I'll probably end up doing that. But for this series for Creator CEO, it's more so what I'm doing is more so doing like kind of like live breakdowns of different things that are happening, almost like a reaction channel, but it's gonna be reaction channel where it's like you got the content playing, and then there's me, and then I get my commentary on it. But it's not necessarily supposed to be hee hee ha ha.
Yeah.
So I'm experimenting with that. I haven't dropped that first episode. That'll probably come out probably next Thursday because I just recorded it. Another thing that I'm doing is I like keeping my YouTube really focused on like I'm trying to create a content flywheel. So the only like the best content is going to go on the YouTube, but I'm going to be experimenting with stuff on the audio feed. So there are different conversations that I've had with some different friends, different entrepreneurs that were like, damn, like this was a really good conversation. This is a really good takeaway. So I'm just recording myself saying that takeaway like 5-10 minutes, put it on the audio feed. I'm also doing book reviews. I call them my book bag. We're gonna get on our bag over these books, you know what I mean? So I did my first book bag last week on, I think the book was 1 Million Followers by Brandon Kane, and
Okay.
currently I'm reading Pat Flynn Superfans. I'm almost done with it, so that'll be the next book bag, and so that's gonna be on the audio feed. And so I'm going to experiment with that style and see like, oh shit, if this takes off on the audio feed, maybe I'll put it on the YouTube, or maybe I'll make shorts out of it and stuff like that. And then last but not least, I also have a newsletter. It's called the Executive Brief, where I'm gonna put exclusive like breakdowns, documents of these breakdowns that I do over there. And I'm trying to have like different content everywhere, as opposed to what I was doing before, which was just like the YouTube content was basically the same on the audio feed, and then the newsletter was just me promoting my YouTube. And so like so it's like if you watch the YouTube, then you have no reason to listen to the audio or be on the newsletter. So I want to have my newsletter have exclusive content, my audio feed has exclusive content, and my YouTube has exclusive content. So you got to be on all three to get the full sauce.
That's nice. That's really nice. I like the way that you think and the way that you're expanding your content to multiple platforms so people can find you in different ways, not just sticking to one platform in particular. Do you prefer, I guess, one platform of growth over another, like sticking to visual content on YouTube, or more so trying to promote on Spotify? I know with me personally, I'm trying to get more streams on Spotify because it was sad. It was sad at the end of 2025. I only had like 2 streams globally, but I wasn't focusing on Spotify. So now I'm
Yeah,
like really being intentional about my RSS and my SEO and all of that, trying to get found by people.
for sure, for sure. Um, what I'll say for me is I wasn't really like I would put stuff on my audio feed on my RSS, but like I wasn't really focused on it. I was mainly focused on the YouTube, mainly because it's a lot. The discoverability on YouTube and even the analytics breakdown on YouTube is far superior than Spotify and Apple, like hands down. So I'm really trying to double down on the YouTube. Not saying that the people on the audio don't matter. I actually got a decent amount of people that actually like tune in on the audio, and I appreciate them. But I'm really just doubling down on the YouTube. And then after YouTube, my next biggest platform I want to say is Instagram, which I mean, not necessarily a surprise because like I use Instagram on the
Reels.
regular. Yeah, so I post all my clips on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, and Twitter. Yeah. because I just
Very
have like a
nice.
software where and a VA who just posts it for me. But what I'm really actually about to double down on is I found out about this from Pat Flynn. Pat Flynn is like one of the godfathers of podcasting, and he has like this challenge. It's a short form content challenge. So it's 30, like, because he started doing the challenge because he used to say that you can't build an audience using short form content. And then what he eventually did is he started opening like Pokemon cards, and he makes like 20-30 bands a month just opening Pokemon cards and posting shorts, which to me is just fucking like, it's just mind blowing that you can make that much money just doing something simple by like opening Pokemon cards, and he don't even put his face in the video or anything
Yeah.
like that. So the challenge is basically to create, like, his book is called Super Fans, and like how to get people like really into like not just like, oh, they're just a casual fan, they come in and out, they like actually are fans of your content. So what he is promoting is this short form content challenge. So it's 30 days, 30 shorts, and you create like a you're supposed to create a series, right, of just doing something. And you're supposed to like make it like repeatable, so that way it's not super duper taxing in terms of editing. So for me right now, what I'm doing is I'm running a mile. I used to play soccer, and I
Okay.
used to, yeah, soccer was
You know, I
my
chat with
shit.
athletes,
Yeah. Oh
athletes,
yeah.
authors, and artists.
Hey, athlete over here. But I haven't played in a very, very long time, and I definitely got humbled when I went back to my high school and we played the alumni game, and I could, like, the technical skill is not too far off from where I used to be, but in terms of the stamina, not cooked. So what I decided to do is, for my challenge, I'm doing a mile a day until I hit a sub 7 mile. And I actually just started. I'm kind of batch recording, which I guess might be.
Yeah.
It's kind of you're not supposed to technically do that. You're supposed to like, oh, record it today, edit it today. But I have an editor that edits my stuff for me. So, and I just want to have the buffer just in case we want to do stuff. So I actually already started the challenge. I just haven't posted about it. So probably,
Nice.
so I'm gonna post about it on, what's that? Today is Tuesday, and I'm gonna make my announcement about it tomorrow, and I'm actually gonna post day one on Thursday. And so the purpose of this, at least for me, is to just try different formats, to try to get my Instagram up, instead of like always just talking about just business shit. Like, just be like, no, like, this is me, like, and I like to just do other shit outside of podcasting. Here's me running, and then create that fan, and then maybe eventually they'll come into my ecosystem and subscribe to my newsletter, watch my show, and stuff like that. So that's the goal with my
respect that.
my Instagram.
I respect that, and I think you doing that was the core reason of like what drew me in to even want to reach out to you for this season, because we have been following each other since August of 2025, but so much time has passed that sometimes it's like, not you forget people, but you kind of forget the reason or that same energy when you first meet a person, when you see them
Yeah.
on social media and you kind of catch up to what they're doing now. It's like, oh wait, like I really want to talk to them again. So I saw one of your videos, and that was the catalyst for me reaching out to you for this season, because I see that you're doing new things and you had
Thank you.
lessons that you learned last year and how you wanted to pivot. So I was like, I wanted to know more about that. So I'm really, happy that you're here again. What
Thank
are
you. Thank you for having me.
yeah, I'm trying to see development and go into the takeoff. The theme of the season is takeoff, and the reason it's called that is really to focus on like that moment or that momentum period before someone really launches. So like, say you're in a plane and you're waiting for it to take off, and you're in that of like expectancy, kind of fear, kind of excitement, and you don't really know what's going to happen. That's why this is called takeoff season, but the core is to really find out what you're doing, what you're working on. Is there anything that you're planning on launching this year that you want to share?
You can't have a successful launch if the pilot is burnt out. That's why I'm raising awareness for NAMI this season, to make sure our mental wellness is cleared for takeoff. If you want to partner with me or support this podcast, please send me an email at the FYFZPOD@outlook.com. Join the crew.
Anything launching I plan on doing this year. Probably the biggest thing is just the rebrand of the podcast. It already happened. I haven't posted like the first like real episode of Creator CEO on YouTube. At least there's a couple things on the audio feed for people to check out. But that's really just the main thing. And I told myself I just want to give it. I think I gave myself like at least like 6 months to like a year. to really see, like, is this really what I want to do? Was this rebrand worth it? And part of the reason why I went through with it is because I think a lot of times when you're faced with a decision and like something as big as, you know, changing the name or something like that, you think that either A, you lost all that time and money, resources, and all this other stuff. But for me, I realized that this is not a like irreversible decision. If for whatever reason like this doesn't work out, I literally could just
Do something
swap the
else.
art back. Yeah, do something else. Or like if I want to go back to the name, I could just take the like I still got all the artwork and stuff. I just throw it all back and then
Yeah.
just like act like it just never happened. You know what I mean? And be like, or just tell
Yeah.
people like I changed back for this exact reason. You know what I mean? It's not as big of a deal as as I think. I'm like so in my head, and I think like especially like as influencers, creators, stuff like that, we think that people are like scrutinizing or judging our every move. Like, oh my goodness, like what are they gonna think about the rebrand? Or oh shit, like how do I sound? And it's like I try to really just put my head down and like, you know, just get to the goal. Just get to the goal. Do what you got to do.
Absolutely. What is the biggest lesson learned from doing what you do? Or, in other words, what would you go back and tell your younger self that was just first starting content creation, entrepreneurship, and really learning the craft?
So we're talking about like right before I started my podcast, or we're just talking about like in general, like say like I was like, I don't know, 10. Some
I was gonna say right before starting your podcast. But if
Okay.
there's also something you want to tell your 10-year-old self too, then that's relevant.
Shit, I'll start with my 10-year-old self. So
Let's start here.
this is actually my second kind of I guess quote unquote at bat doing content creation. So when I was oh man, I don't think I was as young as 10, but I might have been like 12, 13. I was really into video games. I don't play video games anymore. But at the time I really was. And there was this, I think his name's like Chugga Conroy. I think he still makes YouTube videos to this day, like where he would like be playing video games and stuff like that. And like it's literally just him playing video games and him commentating. And I thought at the time like that shit was just so cool to me. And I was just like, bruh, I want to do this, right? So I went out and like keep in mind, this is like 2000. I think I did this from 2009 to I want to say 2011 or 2012, something like that.
Okay.
And I got like, so this is like before I had an iPhone. I don't have no MacBook. Like I got this bulky ass Dell computer. I'm a kid. I don't got really no money or anything. And I literally went out and I found a way to, it was like Camtasia, Photoshop. I was able to get like, you know, cracked or free versions of those. And I taught myself how to edit. I taught myself how to do Photoshop. And I like started my own Let's Play channel, which is actually still on YouTube to this day. Now, I'm not telling y'all what the channel name is. And it's actually the same. That YouTube channel is actually the same YouTube that I use like on the everyday basis. And so I did that. And I stopped because like life got a little too, I started playing soccer and I enjoyed playing soccer more than playing video games. But I used to think to myself like, damn, like if I really like, in hindsight was like, nah, fuck it, like stick with it and like do like, you know, this Let's Play, and maybe I could pivot into Twitch later down the line. Like that would have been crazy because if I had stuck with it from like 2009 to now, that's like over a decade worth of experience. And I don't know, but that's hindsight is 2020. And at the end of the day, it's one of those things where. And on my other show, I asked my line brother this question, which was, is there any point where if you had made a different decision, it would have changed your life completely? And at least for me, playing soccer was one of those, because I went to a Montessori school that everybody played soccer, and I only really knew how to play basketball. And then I started playing soccer, and then from there I started playing competitively. And literally, some of my teammates I played on that first competitive team are still my friends to this day. One of them's getting married in 2 weeks, and I'm in his wedding, and I'm gonna go to there.
Nice.
And the
Congrats
content
to him.
challenge thank you. The content challenge, the Instagram that I was telling you about, one of my teammates, he's a personal trainer. We and him was co-captains together. I text him, he doing the challenge right now with me. Like, so like, it's like I got some of my best friends like for life, like out of playing soccer. So if I had said, I don't want to play soccer, I want to just, you know, play video games, that would have changed my life. So to go back to my 10-year-old self to answer your question, I'd probably be like, bro, I don't know. Like, so part of me wants to just say stick with it. or find a way to do both. Like, don't put it down all the way, or just find a way to like maybe not do it. I think I was trying to do it every day, like do a daily episode, maybe do like some weekly and keep up with it, and then maybe after, like, just see where that takes me. But what would I tell myself, like starting podcasting back in
Yeah, starting
2024?
podcasting. Yeah.
Shit. I don't think I would. I'll probably, which I already kind of had this mentality going into it anyways, which I mean, honestly, ended up proving to be true. Is just that you don't know what you're doing. You know what I mean? Don't put too much pressure on yourself to try to get a million views or be popping and whatnot. Like, you don't know what you're doing. Like that. Like, no matter how much like you try to study, no matter how much you try and put into the production quality, at the end of the day, you're definitely gonna look back at this time like 2-3 years down the line and be like, this is trash. So with that being said, like, experiment with different formats. Do whatever do whatever like you feel like you want to do. I think I was talking to somebody, I forget who it was, but they called it like the first like year or two, it's called like, he called it like finding your voice. You know what I mean? You're just, you don't know what you're doing. You're just trying to like find a voice in this your voice in this ecosystem, this ever growing content creation space. So just like, don't put too much pressure on yourself to try to have the perfect show. Don't try and compare yourself to people that had a show for like 3 years and now they're getting 6-figure brand deals. It's like, bro, just run your own race and you'll be all right, and just don't quit. So that's it.
That's fantastic advice. I'm sure someone out there is going to massively benefit from that. It's simple, but sometimes you need to hear it. Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
Where can my listeners find you?
Shoot, my podcast, Creator CEO, is on YouTube. It's not under the Creator CEO name. It's Myles Youngblood TV. If you want to follow me on Instagram as well, Myles Youngblood TV over there. And if you want to jump on my newsletter, it's creatorceopodcast.com, where I'm doing exclusive breakdowns of different creators and how they were able to monetize, how they were able to grow their channel, stuff like that. So if you want that, check that out too.
Check him out. I'll link all of his content, whatever he wants to send me. I'll link it in my description so you can find him.
Sure.
Another question that I'm curious about is Podcast Movement 2026. Will I see you there?
Man, I think it's in New York this year, so I'll probably be there because it's not that far from DC. So I'll probably go. The only thing is about, I don't know what it is, and I was talking to Anthony Weaver about this on Instagram, because I think it was Podfest. I think it was in Orlando. I think that passed, and I was asking him about how it was, and he was saying that it was kind of on the smaller side, and I was just like, damn. And I'm just not like, I haven't even been doing this for that long, but I remember my first podcast movement in 2024 when it was in DC. Like, that was pretty big, and I feel like everyone after that has gotten smaller and smaller. I went to Afros and Audios right before, I think it was the week before our homecoming, and they announced that they wasn't going to do it no more, like that this was going to be the last one. And so it's like, I don't know what's going on in the conference space with these conferences like getting smaller and smaller. I don't know if people's budgets is just getting tighter, or people not making enough money doing content creation and putting it down, and so people aren't attending and whatnot. But yeah, I just noticed that. Now that's not like necessarily discouraging me from going to podcast movement, especially because, like I said, like New York isn't that far, so I might as well go. I gotta look it up and see what the dates are. Do you know what it is off the top of your head?
I don't. I think it's in August. But the last podcast movement I went to, I was there as an employee. Like, I was working, keeping track of the emerging trends section. So like the speakers would come up and I would basically greet the audience members that wanted to go. If no one was in the audience at that particular stage, I would be the one sitting there cheering them on and everything.
Damn.
But something, we had a mutual friend there. Well, I follow him now on Instagram. Shout out to Andre White.
Yeah.
He said that the next time I attend podcast movement, to go as an attendee or as a creator, because you have to have these badges and get the creator badge. He's like, you were here like working, which is great, but you really have to take it in as an attendee. So I'm kind of conflicted and debating if I should go back as an attendee and just like take it in instead of working. But we'll see. I had a great time working too. So yeah,
okay.
But it's New York. I'm from Texas, so I have to plan out all the logistics and everything.
Yeah, that's another
So,
thing
yeah.
is that these conferences ain't cheap. You gotta plan logistics, flights,
not.
stay, all that stuff. So it's like,
They're not. Yeah.
so we're gonna see.
Right. Well, thank you so much for being on my show. I appreciate you
Of
being
course.
here. And for those listening, don't forget to be a high achiever. You feel me? Bye.